What's up guys, Phantom here, back with episode 18 of my F1 2019 career mode, as we are going to the Suzuka International Road Course in Japan for round 17 of my career mode, as we have our first driver moves of the year, as we are uniting with our teammate Weber, as he's replacing Grosjean, and Madison is taking his place at McLaren.
To the only figure-of-8 track on the F1 calendar. We're here at Suzuka for qualifying today ahead of the Japanese Grand Prix. And I'm here, of course, with Anthony Davidson on what has turned out to be a very pleasant day indeed. No weather to interfere, no problems on the track, so absolutely no room for error.
That's right, Crofty. It's looking good out there at the moment. Each team will have their own game plan for this session, and of course once the cars leave the garage they'll be under parc fermé conditions, so any last minute adjustments need to be done right here and now. Beyond that, it's all up to the driver. Who can keep their tyres in the right temperature, who can hit their apexes. No race fuel on board these days, of course. These are the fastest cars we've had in a long time, and it's right here in qualifying where they're at their absolute peak. Let's get started.
As we start out here in Q2, as we're going through the last chicane where Senna and Prost had their little incident in 89, as we come across the line to start our flying lap at Suzuka, which is not particularly a great track for me, or the car is not. It's not really. It's more of a. The last third of the track is much better for us. Our car is a lot more power-heavy track and doesn't do very well in the first sector. As we come across the line, we will be P9, and that's what we'll get through in qualifying, as Weber, our new teammate, has out-qualified us. Well, has finished higher in Q2. As we move on here, late in Q3 here, this will be our only flying lap, as we took one of the bards, cone thingy-mabobs at the chicane there, as we start our flying lap there, as we were the only one not to set a flying lap so far, as we got a minute left in the session, as qualifying has ended at the end of the lap here, as we take the other barge board and we accelerate too much, and we get on this outside curve and we get loose and we ruin any chance for a good lap, which means we're going to end up being P10, as our teammate Weber is P7, so that's not the showing we wanted to show from Haas, that we were the quicker driver. As we move on to the race.
And a very warm welcome to the Japanese Grand Prix, an event that has decided a Drivers' Championship 11 times over the years and has hosted some very memorable races as well. Who can forget Kimi Raikkonen's win from 17th on the grid in 2005, or Kamui Kobayashi's incredible drive to a podium in 2012. We're southwest of the city of Nagoya today at a wet and windy Suzuka circuit. 3.6 miles and 18 corners make up a lap here, with Sector 1 likely to prove especially difficult in these conditions. We should see overtaking into turns 1 and 16 today, and maybe a few Kobayashi-style dives into the hairpin as well. Anthony Davidson is here once again for today's Grand Prix, and we're just discussing the new driver lineup. Now, can I get your take on Kevin Magnussen? They've just moved to McLaren. How do you think they'll get on?
Well, I think this came as something of a surprise to most of us, but it could end up being a bit of a coup for the team. Getting a driver with experience higher up in the field might just be the boost they need, and I'm sure they'll be a big asset as the team continues to develop their car.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Bottas, Lucas Faber and Perez, Butler, Raikkonen, Leclerc. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And a Haas, Stroll, Magnussen, Lando Norris and Ricciardo. Giovinazzi, Albon, Nico Hülkenberg and Robert Kubica. Russell and Daniel Kvyat completes the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
As we sit out here on the grid in P10, and Leclerc's in P9 after having a 5-place grid penalty. And the lights are out, and we get a pretty average start. Wasn't the best of starts right there, as Stroll's actually coming on strong to our outside, as we're going to try to block him off a little bit there. So we get a little bit loose there in the rain, as it is full wet. It is absolutely pouring it down here as we go through the S's here. As we go through the second Degna, we lose the back end and kind of use Leclerc as a braking meter there, as we come through here to the dive bomb and do a little bit dive bomb hesitation there as we get on the grass, as we wheel bang with him a little bit as we get the drive off the corner here and take 9th from him. As we come off the final chicane here on lap 6 going to lap 7, we finally have gotten close enough to Raikkonen to take a shot at him coming down the front straight here, as he's going to go defensive, and we're going to try to make a Raikkonen style overtake around the outside, and we hit a little bit and lucky not to lose our front wing there, or a front end plate on our right side there, as we went around the outside of him and take 8th place from him. As we're coming to Spoon Curve here on lap 9, as we are close enough to Butler to take a shot at him down the back straight here, as we get a very good run, and we are very much quicker than that Weasley GP2 Honda engine, as we're going to come to the inside. He didn't really defend that much, as we go down the outside, slide a little bit through 130R, but make the move stick. As we come here towards the end of the race, as we have gotten close enough to Perez finally with no DRS, it's been kind of hard to catch cars and, you know, not try to crash out and stuff. As we are making a really good run on him through 130R, but we kind of lose the front end there. As we kind of slid a little bit, as we're so much better under braking than him. As we catch all the way back up, as now we're even closer than we were against Raikkonen, and we're going to pull to the inside here as he kind of blocked with us, as we kind of ran the back of him, but his engine's a little bit better than the Alfa Romeo, but we were able to go down the inside of him and make that move stick for 6th position. As at the end of the lap, at the end of the race here, we kind of go wide through the Degnas, and we kind of block them off there, as I was not giving up 6, as we kind of got on the curb there, and it's not been a very good middle sector on the final lap here. As we come down the back straight here, Butler, who has gotten ahead of Perez, is hounding us, as Vettel has won the Japanese Grand Prix here in rain-soaking condition, as he's got a better run through 130Rs. We kind of had to go a little bit defensive through the chicane here, as we're going to make it stick, not lose the back end, and we will secure a 6th position, but Jeff is not too happy with us.
Not good enough. Not good enough at all. Let's push harder next time, okay?
That's a fantastic performance from Ferrari. It hardly looked in doubt. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, they clearly have a car that comes alive in the kind of conditions we were dealing with today. It's a very balanced package in the wet, and what that means is that the drivers have confidence to attack. And having that confidence gets you on the power earlier, it lets you brake later, and can put you a long way up the road.
Ferrari are at it again. An excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there. So let's review the updated driver standings. Lewis Hamilton takes the lead of the Drivers' Championship. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
Today, I think I'll give it to the Haas driver. They pushed and pushed and found some fantastic performance. It was just a pleasure to watch.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari continued to extend the gap at the top of the table. It was also a strong Grand Prix from Haas F1 this weekend. Fantastic work from the American team to move themselves further up the table. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.